Most people believe control requires power, authority, money, violence. That belief is the first lie you were taught. True control is silent, invisible, and by the time you notice it, it is already too late. No chains, no threats, no commands, just a subtle shift in how you think, what you feel, and what you believe is your own decision. Tonight, you will learn how influence actually works. Not the motivational version, not the ethical version, the real one. Dark psychology is not about domination. It is about direction. People do not need to be forced. They only need to be guided toward the conclusion you want them to reach. And the most dangerous part? They will thank you for it. The human mind is not designed for truth. It is designed for comfort. Your brain constantly edits reality to reduce discomfort. It fills gaps. It rewrites memories. It justifies contradictions. This is not a flaw. It is a survival mechanism. And it is exactly why manipulation works. If you understand how the mind protects itself, you understand how to bypass its defenses. The first principle of dark psychology is simple. People do not resist control. They resist feeling controlled. Remove the feeling, and resistance disappears. One of the oldest techniques is called framing. You never change reality. You change how reality is presented. Two identical facts can produce opposite emotional reactions depending on which part is emphasized. If you say someone lost their job, you trigger fear. If you say they were freed from a toxic environment, you trigger relief. Same event, different emotional outcome. The mind accepts the frame and builds the meaning around it. This is why the most influential people rarely argue facts. They argue interpretations. Once you control interpretation, you control behavior. Another weapon is intermittent reinforcement. It is the most addictive psychological pattern known. Consistent reward creates expectation. Expectation creates boredom. But unpredictable reward? That creates obsession. This is how gambling works. This is how social media works. This is how toxic relationships work. You give attention, then withdraw it. You offer approval, then create uncertainty. The mind becomes trapped in a loop, seeking closure that never fully arrives. The person is no longer responding to you. They are responding to the possibility of you, and possibility is far more powerful than certainty. Then there is authority illusion. People assume confidence equals competence. They assume certainty equals truth. Speak slowly. Pause before important statements. Avoid over-explaining. The mind interprets brevity as mastery. This is why the most persuasive individuals often say the least. They allow silence to do the work. When someone fills silence with words, they signal insecurity. When they control silence, they command attention. Dark psychology also exploits identity attachment. People defend their identity, even when it harms them. If you tie an idea to someone's self-image, logic becomes irrelevant. You don't say, "This belief is correct." You imply, "People like you understand this." Now rejecting the idea feels like rejecting themselves. This is how ideologies spread. This is how loyalty is manufactured. This is how manipulation becomes permanent. Once someone internalizes a narrative, they will protect it for you. But the most dangerous technique of all is gaslighting. Not the exaggerated version people talk about online, the subtle one. You don't deny reality outright. You question perception. "You're overthinking. That's not what I meant. You're too sensitive." Over time, the person stops trusting their own judgment. They look to you for confirmation of reality. And once someone doubts their perception, they are no longer autonomous. They are dependent. Here is the uncomfortable truth. These techniques are used every day in advertising, in politics, in workplaces, in relationships, often by people who don't even realize they are doing it. Influence is not rare. Awareness is. So why learn this? Not to manipulate, but to recognize. Because the moment you can name a technique, it loses power over you. The moment you see the pattern, you step outside it. Dark psychology only works in the shadows. And now you can see. Pay attention to how people frame choices. Notice who controls silence. Observe who rewards unpredictably. Listen for language that attacks perception instead of facts. Control thrives on unconsciousness. Clarity is rebellion. And the most powerful mind in the room is not the one that dominates others. It is the one that cannot be dominated. If this changed how you see the world, stay alert. Once you notice the manipulation, you will never unsee it, and that awareness is both a gift and a burden.